Tonight on View from Stormont, an exclusive. Sinn Féin's national chairman, Declan Kearney, and PUP deputy leader, Dr John Kyle, are filmed together speaking about a quiet dialogue involving Republicans and loyalists. A series of conversations is being facilitated by the Mitchell Peace Institute at Queen's University. In this report by Brian Rowan, loyalists also tell us that a legacy process without them will be unworkable.
Unionists simply do not trust Sinn Féin.
The starting point is not trust. The starting point is developing a common platform.
Over a period of several decades, this church has been a safe space for quiet conversations, talking that begins off stage before there is confidence to bring it out into the open. Loyalists and Republicans are now engaged in such a dialogue, facilitated by the Mitchell Peace Institute at Queen's University. Just a few weeks ago, the first of those meetings happened here at Fitzroy Presbyterian. These are not easy or cosy conversations.
Guys, you are very welcome as always.
Thanks, Steve.
We value what Clonard Fitzroy have been able to do for you guys over many years in conversation and dialogue.
Yeah.
The Reverend Steve Stockman welcomes John Kyle and Declan Kearney back to his church. Off stage, they've been talking for a while, but this meeting is different. Our cameras are present, and what we're witnessing is that next step, the decision to bring this dialogue out into the open.
Declan, I suppose, let me quote you a couple of things that you said, that that the healing of our society needs to be placed above the challenges of the political process, and that republicanism seeks authentic reconciliation with unionism. Now, I welcome those comments. I think they are really pertinent and timely, but I think there are significant challenges, and from a unionist perspective, particularly from a loyalist perspective, I suppose we need some evidence that those aren't just empty words, but that those are genuine aspirations, that is your intention, to see healing of our society, to seek authentic reconciliation. And I suppose there's some bits missing, you know, that need to be said by you, or to convince us that you're genuine about those aspirations.
My starting point is as an Irish Republican. The achievement of a united Ireland, an agreed united Ireland, which I think has the potential to embrace all of our citizens on a rights-based framework, which guarantees civil religious liberties, the rights of all citizens, and copper fastens all traditions, political and cultural and other ways. And it's in that context that I make the argument for authentic reconciliation, because I accept that we can't have an agreed united Ireland unless the differences in our society, the divisions in our society, are reconciled and healed. And in parallel with the words, we have taken huge steps, major initiatives to reach out the hand of friendship and conciliation towards the unionist section of our community. But there is a resistance within political unionism to the outreach which Sinn Féin has made, and it was for that reason in his resignation letter on the 9th of January 2017 that Martin McGuinness commented on the absence of any reciprocity for the efforts that Republicans have made, that Sinn Féin has made, to try and build peace and reconciliation among all of our people. Okay,
well then let me give you some reasons why I think there has been a reluctance, or certainly a lack of reciprocity. For unionists, they look at Sinn Féin condemning sectarianism and condemning it forthrightly, but it doesn't match up with what we see Sinn Féin doing. For example, you know, demanding Irish language signs in Queen's University while banning the poppy, demanding, you know, the rights of victims while naming a play park after a convicted terrorist. A councillor in Enniskillen proposing a motion condemning sectarianism while refusing to condemn the Enniskillen bombing. There are so many occasions where Sinn Féin say one thing, but yet then their actions seem to be the opposite, diametrically opposed to what they've said. So there is, from a unionist point of view, there's a hypocrisy there. You're saying one thing, demanding a standard of us, and yet behaving in a way that is different.
When you and I began our conversation around the need to confront sectarianism in our society, and it is a cancer which is endemic within society here in the north of Ireland, and it goes back many, many, many years. It needs to be eradicated for us to move forward. But my challenge to you when we had that conversation was, invite me in to East Belfast to a meeting hosted by you on anti-sectarianism. Now, thankfully, as a result of that, we developed an approach to how we could in fact address sectarianism through this process of discussion, and I think that's to be welcomed. But we are on a journey. There's a need for us to set out a vision, and then what is key to advancing and promoting the vision and getting buy-in and support right across society is the quality of leadership that you and I bring to how we advance that vision. Anti-sectarianism, reconciliation, healing, how we address the crisis within our public services. The important point to reiterate is that if people need demonstrable proof of Sinn Féin's commitment to ensuring that our political institutions work, they need only look to the advanced draft agreement that was signed with the DUP on the 9th of February, which the DUP then resiled from, they reneged on the 14th of February. Had the DUP shown the leadership that was necessary to deliver and implement that agreement, we would have had institutions re-established and working by the end of that week. Political unionism today, who have set their face against the Good Friday Agreement, loyalists did make a huge contribution, and loyalist leaders like yourself today continue to make a huge contribution. But your efforts are being held back as a direct consequence of the continued existence of unionist paramilitaries. So we need to get to a point where all armed organisations leave the stage decisively, finally, conclusively, where they stop recruiting, they stop criminal armed activities, and we need to have an engagement with those Republicans who are opposed to Sinn Féin, who are hostile to the peace process, and who dislike the Good Friday Agreement.
We need to get beyond the political rhetoric. We need to listen a bit more. We need to be more self-critical. We need to recognise our responsibilities and our culpability to the problems that there are, and then find some way to work together to try and do what needs to be done here.
And I think that comes down to courageous leadership, a commitment to political progress, inclusivity, and the determination to ensure that we deliver the promise and the ambition of the Good Friday Agreement together, and that we do in fact advance our society in the direction of real, authentic reconciliation and healing.
Brian Rowan reporting there.